Well, thanks for being here. Obviously, you're here to watch those guys out there on the indoor field. Appreciate you staying around for golf. But off to an exciting start here at the University of Tennessee for my first two tournaments. Happened to come out victorious in both of those, and so certainly excited about that. Team was ranked #1 in the country going into this week, and I'm sure that will, even though we won, it'll change a little bit as some more rankings get in there. But we're certainly excited how everything's transpired so far. The first tournament was certainly one that was unexpected. It was one of the bigger fields of the fall. 7 of the top 14 teams in the country were there in the preseason polls. So we certainly weren't expected to win, or maybe even expected by ourselves to go down there and win. So we were excited about that. And then we beat Georgia Tech in a playoff, who have been a top 5 team in the country from last year, returned everybody, and had a little history being the assistant coach there. So that was a nice moment for sure. And then my assistant coach, Bo Andrews, played for Georgia Tech for his time in college. And so it was a nice extra special victory for us. And we played with Alabama and Georgia Tech the last 2 days, and Alabama's top 5 team in the country, returned everyone again as well. So I think our guys got a lot of confidence from that, and that kind of heightened expectations for everybody involved. And then when we going up to this tournament in Ohio, we certainly felt like we were the team to beat, and were able to come out victorious after a couple days of bad weather and fought through the adversity. So
with that, we'll open it up to questions.
What were your expectations going into this fall season, and was there any person or anything or any aspect that surprised you the most?
Yeah, just obviously looking from the outside going in, team finished the year 50th in the country last year and lost the best player, Lorenzo, who's one of the best players ever played here, left as the second-team All-American, All-SEC player. So I really wasn't, when I took the job, before I got to know the players, I didn't have a whole lot of expectations as far as, I thought if we were able to kind of maintain that level and make up for Lorenzo being gone. But then after I got here and spent a few days with them and saw some of the skill that they had, and went through that first qualifying session with them where they were playing for their starting spots, I felt really good about it and told them so. And actually, kind of ironic, but I mentioned to Coach Hepler, the Georgia Tech coach, before the tournament started. I said, I think these guys are actually a lot better than anyone thinks. I said, I don't know how they're going to handle the pressure of this situation, but physically they're really, really good. And then they came out and handled the situation like they've been there before. So I was happy for that.
Over there on the left, second row.
What are your expectations now?
A little bit different than they were starting the year, obviously. I think we just kind of learned to deal with the expectations as part of the process now, and then to make sure that we keep doing what we've been doing to get to this stage. And I know it's a little bit faster than any of us expected, but it certainly isn't a place that we don't want to be nor feel like we should be.
Were there any major changes, that you made for these guys, either mentally or maybe physically with their swings? Anything that you came in and you thought needed to get changed quickly?
I don't think certainly was no physical changes. We changed our practice up a little bit and spent a lot more time with the wedges and short game and putting, and spending a lot of time competing against each other at practice. So I don't know what they've done in the past, but I know that they had mentioned that the emphasis on short game and wedges was a little bit different. And then from a mental standpoint, I think, having coached at Georgia Tech and coached at the highest levels in the match play and teams that were #1 in the country, and then played on the #1 team in the country, I think I just was able to say to them, guys, you're as good as those teams. When we get to the farm, I'll challenge you to look up and down the range and find 5 guys on another team that swing better than you, or hit the ball better than you, or that can play golf better than you. So I think that maybe helped their belief a little bit, and they went down there and played great.
Coach, back here in the dark, kind of going off that a little bit. I know after the Georgia Tech playoff win, a lot of players said that you all brought this kind of confidence, this calmness about the team as they were going through those last few holes there. What is that kind of how you describe your coaching style, and is that calm confidence what you want to give this team?
Yeah, I think that that for them to see that we weren't panicking, that we felt like we were there, and Bo had played in those situations, I'd played in them, coached in them, and so we just kind of stayed out of their way. and let them know that it was all okay and everything was going to be fine. I told them before we started that I didn't care what they shot. It wasn't going to be, they weren't going to be judged on the results, but if they just went out there and handled their business and trusted themselves and went through the process that they trained and prepared for their whole lives, not just the 3 weeks since I got here. And I think they obviously got a little bit of confidence from that and carried on with it.
You said that you had spoken to someone and said, you know, I think these guys might be better than people think they are. Was there kind of a eureka moment where you saw that? Was it just a really good day on the course, or just something that really kind of turned your mind?
Yeah, I've told this story a couple times, but it really first started our very first workout the day after we had our first kind of introductory meeting. We went to the workout the next morning, 6 o'clock, and they were out there working out and going through their thing, and they were kind of even a little bit of a warm up. And the way they were kind of cheering each other on, encouraging each other, and going forth. I kind of looked down at my watch and it was 6:11. I just remembered, and after we were done, I told them, I was like, guys, it took me 11 minutes to figure out that the perception of you guys, the perception of this program, and what we're going to be able to accomplish is completely wrong. And my perception in itself, not just everyone else's. So, and I told them if they continue to encourage each other and help each other and love each other and go about and work as hard as they could, that we were going to win no matter where we were. And they certainly proved that a little bit earlier than I expected. But and then just watching them play, going through the qualifying rounds, it was 8 of the 9 guys that are playing this year were all under par on some tough conditions, and we had 2 or 3 guys double digits under par. And I know that those scores win college golf tournaments, and the fact that we were playing for those 5 starting spots, that's as much pressure as going to any college golf tournament. So I knew if they could do that during qualifying, we could play well during tournaments.
I was just curious how you ended up at ETSU as a player, being from Ontario.
Yeah, I had came down and played a few junior golf tournaments, including U.S. Junior, and had a pretty good week there. We made it to the round of 16 and kind of started getting some attraction from schools. Went and visited a few out west, and I think Memphis State at the time. And then my last visit was East Tennessee State. And, at the time, they were, I think, 12th or 13th in the country. It's a big golf school. And I just kind of knew right away that's where I wanted to be, and committed in the Charlotte airport on the way home back to Toronto. And it just was lucky enough that that's where it was, and fell in love with the place.
Follow up to that, being from Ontario, but having spent so much of your career in Tennessee as a player and as a coach, how many courses would you estimate that you've played in this state, and do you have a favorite?
I couldn't imagine, counting up all of the ones I've played. Most of the ones, certainly from Middle Tennessee this way, I've played most of those ones. I'm kind of partial to John City Country Club when because that was the one that we spent the most time at school, and I have so many memories from there. It was fun to be around, but certainly we got to play the Honors and the Grove and Holston here and Cherokee and Buxton and all those places here in town. They're all really good and give our team an exceptional advantage heading out on the road.
Down here on the left.
I think there's nearly a dozen guys on your roster that are from the state of Tennessee. Is that common? Is that something that obviously you have to recruit everywhere, but
Yeah.
is that something that can be a base, a sustainable one for a big time program?
Absolutely. Tennessee junior golf is one of the top 4 or 5 states in the country as far as producing junior golf talent. You look at this 2018 class, there was 5 of the top 50 players in the country were from the state of Tennessee. And so you can build a championship team with Tennessee players. Obviously, you're going to supplement that a little bit with some guys from, whether it be internationally or from some regional states nearby. But Tennessee is my focus for recruiting, and I certainly feel like we can win an NCAA championship with players from Tennessee.
Is that something that made the job even more attractive when you were, kind of in the running for this one?
Absolutely. This was kind of the job that I always had my eye on, and being at Middle Tennessee and having some success over there, certainly with in-state players and players from Knoxville even. I thought that, if I got here, kind of could have my pick of the litter per se with the, what the kids growing up in this state, they want to come to the University of Tennessee. And so our recruiting has been great since we got here, and I expect it to continue.
Anything else for Coach? Up in the back.
Can I speak up, please?
So I know you talked about expectations and learning something about your players so quickly on that first practice, but what about as people? Is there something about your players as people that have surprised you in the short time that you've been the head guy here?
Yeah, absolutely. I had, some uninformed outside perceptions of who they were from watching them play or recruiting them, and I will say that they're a phenomenal group of young men, and I don't think that I certainly felt that way coming in here, that I didn't know who they were. And so to see how hard they work, how much they care about each other and love each other, and how much they love being a member of the University of Tennessee Athletic Department and the golf team specifically, it feels really good to watch them get to, have these feelings of accomplishment so early, and to know, I told them yesterday that this is what they've done, and it's a result of the work they put in, not since they got here, but from the time they were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And so I'm happy that they're getting to share these experiences together. When this is all said and done, these are the things that they're going to remember and be lifelong friends. And so for them to be able to do that, they've welcomed me and Bo, and kind of brought us into their circle. And the guys that came with me from Middle Tennessee certainly feel like a part of the family already, and they've been fantastic. And everybody that I met through the interview process told me that, and they weren't lying. They're fantastic.
Any other questions for Coach?